It is Tuesday evening, right past 7:30, and you know what that means. It's time for your favorite sports podcast, The Sports Pod. I am your host, Jared Yamamoto. But looking around the room here, man, especially those watching, I've got a skeleton staff tonight. I'm looking around. There's no Bama boy Alex Williams, not feeling too great. There's no Mike B. He had a loss in the family. Of course, both are merited sick. There's been illness going around everywhere here in the Atlanta area, so Alex is merited with his absence. Mike B obviously losing a member of his family. We feel bad for him, and his family is in our thoughts. But joining me in studio, I've got none other than the commissioner, our Big Ten correspondent, Dan Z. Dan, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. I kind of felt like that Will Smith meme. Just like,
yeah, you're looking all around, right? You're like, where is everybody? What's going on here? It's weird that only you and I are in studio together because Nicole Bennett, she actually broadcasts from Buford, Georgia, but she loves us. She doesn't want to come down and hang out with us here in the ATL.
No, that's not. I work a split shift, but days that I told Jared, days that I get done maybe a little earlier, I can head down that way. I definitely will. But
you know,
not because I don't love you guys.
I get it. You don't love us. You can just admit it. That's fine. That's fine. But you know what? Regardless, the three of us are going to hold this down. We are going to be the three amigos.
That's right.
Because there is a ton to talk about in the college football world. Now, I mean, this is one of those weeks where there would be a double lead here because both these games were incredible that happened. I really, you guys correct me if I'm wrong here. I'm pretty sure every week this season, and we're in week 7 now, there has been a significant upset. There has not been a single week that has, quote, gone as planned in the college football world, which anybody that tells you that NIL or the evening out of these teams has made college football worse, they don't know what the beat they're talking about because it has made it so competitive across the board. And we got 2 massive upsets that happened this week. I feel like we got to start with this one. Both upsets are equally as good, but I feel like we got to start with this one just because of how significant and how high the expectations were for this Texas team to start the season.
4-man rush on 2nd and 19. Rips one over the middle. And throws an interception. Jordan Castell. Just playing center field and ended up right between the 1 and the 4.
See, just trying to hit Emmett Mosley coming across the field. You're going to see Castell just sitting there in this too high look. He's just playing it top down. He's playing a version of cover 4, and he just misses a little bit. And the safety is right where.
Unbelievable play right there by the Florida Gators to take down Texas. My goodness. And the other huge upset is UCLA's insane upset over Penn State. Now, the reason why I feel like the Florida upset is so big is because remember where we were. And again, I'll open this up to everybody here in a second. Remember where we were to start the season week 1 with Arch Manning, Texas being the overall number 1 team in the country, now unranked because of this loss to Florida. I just got to say the hype around this Texas team has been there, the athletes that they have across the board, and for Florida to basically be reeling. I mean, they have essentially nothing to play for. I thought that was the bigger upset. I mean, I feel like the Manning family has something to blame for Arch's bad exposure. I mean, he did sign a $10 million NIL deal, so at least he'll get money. But there were, at the beginning of the season, before there was even a snap taken in the college football world, there were mock drafts showing Arch Manning going to the New Orleans Saints. And for that kid to be going through the pain that he's having to go through right now at Texas, I mean, I haven't seen anything like this. So, Nicole, we'll start with you. And what do you think here? I mean, do you think this was the bigger upset, or do you think the UCLA, Penn State? I mean, again, James Franklin, it's a mess down there over at Penn State too. So both very huge upsets. I would put them like if you're watching on camera now, they're like within centimeters of each other, how close they are. But I'm just blown away at this Texas team imploding. What do you think?
I was going to say, it's really tough to pick which one's the bigger upset because I put them so close together for very different reasons. I picked Texas as the most overrated team in the SEC. I didn't expect they'd come across as this overrated, if I'm being honest. And I don't know what it is. You see glimmers of, Manning's talent. It's there. I just don't know what's going on. And I think that's a good word. It's implosion for them. And then for Penn State, I think it's Franklin. I think that is definitely on him for sure. There's too much talent. There's way too many expectations every season for how many seasons in a row now. And I think it's James Franklin. Texas, I don't know. It's got to be a combination of factors there because that was shocking.
I mean, it's just like, Billy Napier's job, he is basically out the door. We thought that after the most recent loss the week before that he would be out the door that week along with Sam Pittman. And of course, Pittman got fired from Arkansas. We thought Billy Napier was going to be right behind him. Billy Napier stays and then ends up taking care of business. And he probably at least kept his job through this season just because of this victory. Those final scores, by the way, 29-21 in favor of the Florida Gators over the Texas Longhorns. And then for Penn State and UCLA, final score was 42-37 in those games. Now, Dan, I feel like you have a different take on this, but for, both equally huge upsets.
Yeah, both big upsets. I can start with the Florida-Texas one. I think we all picked Texas. Obviously, they were, preseason number one. Arch has looked really bad. He just looks like he doesn't know. There's like two things: the decision making and accuracy. The accuracy isn't there. Like it doesn't look like he knows. Flustered. I don't think the offensive line's very good, but that one, it's an upset. But I always leaned like the spread was like 5.5. So I'm like, Vegas kind of thought like this could be a good game. Florida had a good defense. So I thought it could be close. I still thought Texas would win. And it wasn't the way that Florida won. Florida kicked the crap out of them. That's what surprised me more than anything. It was 29-21, but really, I think Texas got a late touchdown in there.
Yeah, it was a garbage time touchdown.
Yeah, it was a garbage time touchdown. Texas defense is supposed to be good, and they gave up 450 yards. And Legway looked great. So that was the shocking part. I thought if Florida was going to win, it'd be like a 17-10. Like there'd be a lot of turnovers and just ugly game. Florida really just dominated them, and we'll talk about the game later. But now Texas rolls into the Red River rivalry. So it's like, right? That's their first SEC game. We're like, well, maybe they'll dust off the cobwebs. They've played 0 people since Ohio State, and that could be a rude awakening. This could be a real bad stretch down here for Texas. And then UCLA, that one to me is the bigger shocker. Just because we didn't even pick the game. It was a 25.5 point spread.
Yeah, UCLA's been terrible.
Awful. They were 0-4. They fired the coach. I know we'll talk about it, but Jerry Neuheisel, the new offensive coordinator, great story because his dad used to coach there. Talk about how he didn't know the headset. He was like calling the plays. He didn't know it. The fact that they came out, and I think I had to check my phone. I was like 17-7. I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, there's no way this is right. But they gave up Penn State gave up 446 yards to UCLA, gave up 280 yards on the ground. They ran all over them. And you look at UCLA, I looked back at their other games. They lost. They got destroyed by Utah 43-10, lost to UNLV, lost to New Mexico, and lost to Northwestern. They're bad. That to me was a shocker. I thought Penn State would bounce back from losing Oregon. Kind of, hey, this is a gimme win to get you back on track. I think there's more ripple effects from this one because what do you do, James Franklin? This season's lost now, essentially. I don't think they make the playoffs
unless they beat Ohio State
and win out. That's the only chance. I think to save his job and make the playoffs, because now that opens up another spot for Indiana, Illinois, who's the other team. There's a lot of things happen because I think Nicole posted it in the chat or something. First time that AP 1 and 2 are not ranked after week 7.
Yeah,
they were the 1 and 2 ranked teams. This is crazy.
And we'll get to. I have some thoughts about the media giving their rankings out there because I know a couple people that actually vote in the AP poll. And let me just say this: I don't know how much they know ball. Let me just put it that way. So I feel like there's some bad voters out there. I'm sure there's plenty of good ones. I don't want to, talk too much smack about my industry, but I could certainly say that I know a couple of them, and I'm like, really, you know about what you're talking about? And again, as the host of a award-nominated sports podcast, I feel this is just my plea that I should be a voter in the AP poll if it continues in the future. So looking at both these games, okay, we'll talk a little bit more about the UCLA game because with James Franklin, you alluded to a lot of things there, Dan. I think with Franklin, the time has now ended at Penn State. You have to find a way where he gets a nice payout at the end, but both sides have to leave with dignity, right? So it has to be a mutual breakup and not he gets fired. I think if he gets fired, it's bad blood and another team is going to scoop him up even faster. But so for the sake of Penn State as a college and a reputation and as a brand, they have to find a way to find a healthy breakup, especially if they don't end up winning out. They don't win to Ohio State, which is looking more likely than not coming up in the season. Although, again, UCLA jumped up out of nowhere and had a great game. So you got to give them some credit for actually prepping for the game and doing as well as they did against Penn State. But as I said last week, I mean, it's just starting to look like this Penn State team gets the recruits they need. They've got the talent across the board, but this is just their Mark Richt era. They're like, they need the next guy to come in there to get them over the top, to make them an elite player in the Big Ten. And one of the things I think the Big Ten is going through now that is kind of a growing pain, you got to give a little bit of leeway to them. And this is why I think people forget, these are 18 to 23-year-old kids that are all playing out there. And I think that what we're noticing early in the season is this travel is kicking the Big Ten's ass with surprises across the board. We all thought that USC was going to beat Illinois a couple weeks ago. It was an early kick, noon kick, and USC was caught off guard. Illinois ends up winning at home. I feel like this game, Penn State wasn't prepared for it, and it was a relatively earlier game, plus you're going across the country. I feel like that also plays a factor as well. So I don't know if in the future the Big Ten's going to consider consolidating, but I certainly would put that as a factor in this game. Because, I mean, if you're Drew Aller, I'm like, this was supposed to be your year, right, Nicole?
Right. Well, and it's funny, I was going to jump in and say I had not even thought about that part of maybe the Penn State UCLA shocker. I don't know if we could say that was the sole reason that they lost that badly, but these are young guys, not NFL players who are used to having to travel all over, and they have school, they have other responsibilities. It's not their, just their main job necessarily. So, I mean, it is for most of them, I would assume, but I think it could definitely be a factor, and maybe consolidation, or you see a lot of new neutral sites pop up for different teams, along the way. I don't know, because jet lag is no joke. And I cannot imagine Penn State to UCLA and coming off of a loss, if you hope that they're going to snap back, but they're tired, and who knows, maybe it just wasn't in them for that game. I have no idea.
Spare me though. Ohio State Washington and won 28-6. So don't spare me. Like you're 25-point favorites. I don't care if you're jet lagged. You're flying flash on Friday.
Poor baby.
Thursday, 2 nights. A 3-hour flight. Come on, people.
I mean, you are getting paid now, to be fair.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. They're not flying to London for the NFL. That's like a 8-hour flight. That's like 3 or 4 hours.
That's true.
Look it up.
So some of these kids,
they're young.
may never have
Junior jet lag.
Have junior jet lag. I like that. Maybe for these kids, some of them, this is the first time that they've flown significantly like this. I mean, people forget that the Big Ten is so big. I mean, it goes from Rutgers on the East Coast all the way to Oregon now on the West Coast. And if those two teams ever play each other, I mean, I like your idea, Nicole, of having some kind of neutral site in the middle, because I do feel like as a conference, and I get it, it's all for TV and it's all for ratings, and it is a big business. That's what people forget about college football in general, just any kind of sport now, is that it is all business, and they want the ratings, they want the eyeballs, they want you to watch it, they want you and all of us to talk about it, and it's working so far. But I think that we are starting to, at least I know that when looking at these games, I'm going to certainly be more mindful of the travel that these teams are taking, because, I mean, nobody can expect the USC to lose to Illinois, at least on this panel. So I wanted to at least get through those things. Congratulations to UCLA for taking care of business. Nico finally looked pretty good in that game. Ran for a ton, 128 yards on the ground, 166 yards passing. Maybe it does end up playing out well for him in the future. And certainly for UCLA, that's a big program win for them. And for Florida over Texas, again, for Billy Napier, This is what he does now. I mean, at least for the last 2 years, like just when you think he needs to be kicked out the door. And in fact, if I'm a Florida booster, I would get annoyed by this because I'm like, no. We need you to be consistent at the beginning of the season, not turn it on in the middle of the season, because we forget, like, both those quarterbacks in that game, DJ Lagway and Arch Manning, were early contenders for the Heisman Trophy this year. Now they're completely off the board. They are completely off the board. And I guess all I can say is hats off to Florida and hats off to UCLA for taking care of business in both those games. Now, Dan, you mentioned this before, that both Texas and Penn State are out of the AP top 25. We've all seen the stat. I know that we shared in the group where it's the first time that this has happened, I guess, in many, many years. But I think that there needs to be a little bit of pressure on the college football playoff because, as I mentioned before, I know a couple people that vote in the AP poll and they know football, but not as well as I would expect. Do you think, Nicole, that college football needs to step up and start just doing these rankings starting in week 1? So that way I like the coaches poll because at least it's amongst your peers. But instead of doing an AP media poll, do you think the CFP just needs to jump in there and say, hey, we've gone to all the spring practices and this is who we think's number 1?
Yeah, that's not a bad idea because yes, they've seen maybe a little bit more of a preview for each team than we have, and they can decipher between the hype and what's real and what I think that's maybe not a bad idea, and then we get a more accurate reading at the start. But to be fair, I don't really pay too much attention to the preseason polls. I try to to me, and I would assume as players, it's kind of white noise because of the fact that it's the AP and media polls and all of that. So I think CFP voters would maybe have a more accurate vote for sure. But I mean, all in all, I try not to. That's why I love doing like we do on the Sports Pod. We decipher right at the start of the season, who do we think is the most overrated right away? And that's when I really think that those of us, like you said, on an award-winning show that know what we're talking about can say, I think,
that is very good analysis. And that just shows how much of a true college football fan Nicole Bennett is. Dan, your take, right. Same question.
Two sides of it. Yeah, sometimes it's like I hate the early preseason rankings because it does inflate some teams' records. Like, but one game I do want to talk about later is Miami, the Florida State game. But like Florida State now being 3-2, like, oh, they had that big win, it's like, does it matter when they end up like 8-8? Is that a big win for a team when like they started off hot? Or is Texas going to look like a big win for Ohio State at the beginning of the year because they don't look good? But you can say we beat the number 1 10-ranked team. So that part I don't like because people hang it on the resume like they had a big win. But to me, it's also like that is part of college football. Like I love seeing the first AP votes coming out, and then we all can debate it that we don't like it or not. So it's like, to me, that's like what makes college football kind of fun. It's like, I don't think Penn State's number 2. Oh, I think they're good. And it's like that's kind of that's just what I've always grown up with and liking. So it is part of that. The only thing I would change is like some kind of accountability for these voters. There's some kind of like grading scale of like, you are so far off on the rankings. Like at the end of the year, they do like a post-op, like you had these people ranked here. What do you like? You lose your credential
for the lowest voters. You get the teams with I guess because each person votes individually on who they think their top 25 is, and then they take the mean of that and then put it out as the actual AP rankings. Yeah. I think what you do is whoever got it the wrong, almost like what they do in Premier League, right? You relegate them.
The bottom third or 3 or 4 lose your you go
to FCS. Yes. You go to FCS and then you go to Division 2 after that, and Division 3 and whatnot. I think
we try a little harder. We all have day jobs and we still do some research on the games. Like, for God's sakes, that's your job. Like, so
that's true.
Do a little work. I feel like there's a little bit of like accountability on it. But honestly, like, this is week 7. So next week we get the first.
No, we don't get the first one until November 4th. Okay. Is what I saw.
Okay. So then a couple more weeks, but once those come out, we don't care what they be ranking. So it's like, it's all fun. And obviously I don't think the TVs are going to ever get rid of it because they want to advertise 1 versus 2 in week 1. And
yeah, of course.
So, I got to watch that game. So it's all for ratings and stuff, but it is part of college football.
I think collectively what the three of us are saying here is number 1 is trust Sports Pod with our analysis, number 1 first. And we'll give you the actual rankings of these teams and what they're actually doing on the field. And then number two, you hit the nail on the head there, Dan. It's exactly for TV ratings. And for somebody, if it's your alma mater, you see that, I don't know, let's say Clemson started the season up very high, right? You're like, oh man, Clemson's going to have a year out. Now I'm going to go tailgate and do these things. And it gets you hyped up to start the season. But as an analyst, for sure, like looking at this stuff, I'm starting to really question them. And of all the polling data that's out there, the AP poll gets it wrong the most. So I would say for the CFP, my solution is let's get the first one on October 1st. So that way, you got 5 weeks into the season.
Get a sense for the teams.
You can kind of know what's going on. And then maybe have a break. Do it every 2 weeks until we get into, the real crunch time where the actual playoff comes out and you're like, whoa, okay, this is the mock playoff. And then it gets super exciting after that. But I had no intention of talking that much about the AP polling, but obviously, everyone's like, it means so much. And it's like, no, they're just idiots in the media that think that they that know what they're talking about with these rankings. And I guess we fall in that category as well. Now, I do a couple of honorable mentions here. I did want to bring up the FSU-Miami game. Bravo to FSU for making this game here. They got 19 unanswered points in the fourth quarter, making the final score 28-22. Do you think that takes away from Miami's campaign there, Dan?
No, I watched, I think most of the first half. I didn't watch much of the second half, but Miami looked in control for the most of that game into the fourth quarter. So like the final score looks a little better for Florida State than I felt like the game was. I mean, there were some turnovers for Florida State. If you look at some of the numbers, like, Florida State had more yards and more first downs. It's like Miami just looked more efficient with the ball when they had it. Beck looked great, 4 touchdowns. That Miami defense looks pretty legit. That D-line they were after that quarterback a lot. Just speaking from like a high state fan, I think the two teams I'm worried about are Miami and Oregon.
Yeah.
So Miami's looking good. I think the score is a little misleading. I know if you look at the box score, like, they had a lot of yards. I feel like Miami had that game in pretty good control. But.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely some garbage time points. But again, if these pollsters out there, they're going to look at that, but actually it was 28-22. Now, Nicole, you got to be pretty pissed off seeing your boy Carson Beck, 4 touchdowns, 241 yards, 20 for 27. I got to say, I think he's the leader for the Heisman. And
I think there's a lot of talk now that I think he is the lead contender for the Heisman now. I knew, look, where Carson Beck is concerned.
Here she goes.
It's his attitude, at least his attitude while he was at Georgia, that I was not a fan of. But if you look at his stats on paper, you can't take away. He's a good quarterback, especially with a complete team around him. And I think that's my observation so far with Miami and Oregon, like you said, Dan Z. Just very complete teams all the way around. And those teams I'm definitely scared of, for sure. I think I wasn't doubtful of Miami before the Florida State game, but I just wanted to see them play Florida State. I don't think they'd played maybe a contender yet that matched them as well as Florida State on paper. And seeing last Saturday, I was like, okay, I think, they're scary.
They are certainly a force. And again, for my sake, I was the only one that got that one wrong. You guys all picked Miami. I feel a little validated seeing a score like that, even if it was garbage time points. All right. So the other game I wanted to bring up, honorable mention here. Congrats to the Virginia Cavaliers. 30-27, a terrible season last season. Took care of business against Louisville in overtime. This Chandler Morris kid, he's turning out to be a much better game manager than I expected. And their defense seems to be doing pretty well. I mean, Virginia just overall, they get my hoorah of the day right there. You like that there, Nicole? The hoorah of the day.
Oh, wow.
Although, of course, the Virginia fans would say, wahoo, wah! That's what they would do instead. So I think congratulations to them. Maybe a sleeper getting into the ACC championship, considering how suspect Tech looked last week. We'll see whether or not Tech turns it around this weekend or not. Now I want to get an update on those AP polls. It's funny we just rag on them there for as long as we did, but I'll at least give you the top 10, at least according to the AP here. We'll give the top 12 here. Top 13, since Danzy's got a Georgia Tech shirt on. How about that? So at number 13, you got Georgia Tech hanging there. They moved to 4 spots because of all these upsets. Number 12, Tennessee. 11, LSU. Georgia, 10. 9, Texas Tech. 8, Alabama. 7, Indiana. 6, Oklahoma. Texas A&M's number 5. looked really good against Mississippi State. Ole Miss as number 4, 5-0. Oregon, they're number 3 at 5-0. Miami 5-0, number 2, and Ohio State reigning supreme there at number 1. So looking pretty crazy there. A lot of this is going to change as the season goes on, but certainly looking like we're starting to see the true top 10 coming out there. Dan, let's go ahead and get an update on our standings now at the moment. I actually think I finally have the graphic working this time too. So you go ahead there. What is the current update on these Sports Pod standings?
All right. Well, Jared with a bold strategy last week did 2 double lock islands, 1 loss and 1 won, so it just netted out to 1. So
I know.
yeah, it didn't really but it was exciting. So still the seller, Jared 33-29, Mike B 35-27, Alex 37-25. Nicole and I keep having the same record these last 3 weeks, battling out. Nicole 41-21 and Dan Z 43-19.
All right, look at that. So you can see it there on your screen. At least I'm over 500, guys. At least I'm over. I'm very, very happy to finally not be looking on that side of things. Although I do have some risky picks coming up here. So we did have our sports pod fail. Obviously, all of us took Texas over Florida, and with me doing the 2 double locks over there, I figured I would at least give you guys the choice. I don't need to do both a victory lap and a walk of shame. I'll just briefly say this for both teams. Number 1, I'm happy that FSU at least made it a game against Miami. Miami looked like they were going to kick their butts, but certainly a bold choice. I like the way FSU is going, and it's good to see them back in contention in the ACC. And UVA, again, wahoo wah. Excited to see them playing as well as they are in the ACC. Are you guys content with both my walk of shame and my victory lap?
I am
very content, says Nicole.
I
agree. And just the jump on, it sounds like Jared's back on the Virginia bandwagon. He wasn't on him a couple weeks ago at Florida State. I was, by the way. So I just want to say Jared's back. Let's welcome him back, guys.
Okay.
But I want to
Appreciate
say,
it.
Look at the rest of the schedule for Virginia, guys. They could be what are they?
They're 5-1.
They're 5-1. They play Washington State, not very good. North Carolina,
not good.
Bills did, and then we got Cal, Wake, Duke, Virginia Tech. They could win. They could be 11-1.
Yeah, they
could be going in against Miami.
Dang.
That's why Tech's got to watch out. Everyone keeps saying that Georgia Tech's got the easiest path to the ACC championship, with really the only tough game left, Georgia at home now, but that's not a conference game, so they have a clear path too. So it's like for Tech, don't stumble because Virginia's right there. They could easily certainly ride that wave into the ACC championship.
They both have Duke. That's the interesting one because Duke also is 3-0 in the ACC. Their only 2 losses are out of conference. So there's a lot of craziness going on in the ACC. Everyone's saying Miami, maybe they have a pretty easy schedule. They can lock in that top spot, but who are they going to play in the conference champion? It's exciting. We don't know.
It's going to be fun.
I think everyone thought it was Miami and Clemson, or Miami and Florida State, or Clemson and Florida State. Well, we're gonna have a new one in there, I think. So it's exciting.
It'd be nice to have 2 new ones in there instead of having the traditional, I guess, blue bloods of the ACC there. All right, now let's go on and get into our picks here. I would get into the Bill Belichick stuff, but I feel like
you want an obituary or something.
I mean, what can you say? I mean, the guy has just lost his mind, right? That's the only thing you can say.
I feel bad.
It is. I mean, those fans leaving at halftime. I mean, I know you're playing Clemson. Clemson's great, but you bring in 70 new players, all the hype that came around that. I mean, that Monday night spectacle they did for Bill Belichick, playing TCU, and then they get their asses handed to him. I mean, I think ESPN's got to be feeling pretty stupid about it. And North Carolina certainly is feeling stupid about it as well. I think I read something where they were not wanting to share any of the success of Drake May beating the Buffalo Bills because of his estranged relationship with the New England Patriots. And I'm like, Drake May graduated from UNC. It doesn't matter what the New England Patriots are doing now, and Bill Belichick should have no say over it, but it's just nuts.
What happened? Question for the group. Who do we feel more misled about? Arch Manning or Bill Belichick being a good college football coach?
Oh gosh.
Probably Bill Belichick. I mean,
I was going to say Bill Belichick.
He's got time to correct things. Is he going to be a first-round draft pick this year? No, absolutely not, unless he just completely turns it around. And if you're an NFL team, you got to look at that sidearm throw and say, you got to fix that. Bill Belichick, I think everybody thought, with the ACC, with the schedule that UNC had this year, they could do something, but no, they're just pretty bad.
It's bad. I agree. I think the Belichick experiment was worse than I think any of us expected.
Yeah, definitely. Especially as somebody that comes from the UNC line. What do you think there, Nicole? You
Oh, I agree because, well, I don't want to speak too soon because we still have to play Texas. So that said, I was not impressed by Arch Manning last season. Still has not impressed me this season. So I'm, still kind of, I guess, shocked just because I see the ads with him now, the Vuori ad or whatever. People are really still going all in on Arch Manning, but Bill Belichick, that's just, it's shocking how bad it's going, is like Dan Z said. Yeah, maybe we thought, I don't know how this is going to go, but for it to go this badly, I
got to put some blame on the Manning family. Got to put some blame on Sarkisian. He was the offensive coordinator at the Falcons. I remember how terrible he was as an offensive coordinator. And you got all that talent at Texas, all that NIL money. You got to perform. You got to get it done. I know you're 2 years into the SEC, but give me a break. Like, you got a Manning kid playing. This is just not looking good so far. Again, a lot can happen. Things can change, but my goodness, not looking great so far. So speaking of Arch Manning, let's go on and get to the first game here. The Red River rivalry played in the Cotton Bowl. You got number 6 Oklahoma taking on Texas. Obviously, lots of drama setting up for this game on Saturday, October 11th. Nicole, I'm putting the pressure on you. You riding with Arch in this game, or are you riding with the Oklahoma Sooners?
Okay. Because in speaking of going all in on Arch, Texas is, I'm noticing so many people are still picking Texas, including Vegas. I just thought maybe they'd assume it's going to be a close game, but with how Texas played last weekend, I don't know what they know about Oklahoma that we don't. I think maybe I read that they might not have their starting quarterback. So that could be what's kind of swaying the vote right now. Can I pass?
You may not
pass.
Just
come back to me. Oh gosh, I wish we knew if they were going to have their quarterback. It's at Oklahoma.
No, it's in the Cotton Bowl, Dallas. Well, actually, don't get me started on Dallas because much like the Georgia-Florida game being played in Florida every year, I don't think this is a neutral site personally. But anyway, it is played in Dallas.
And to help your decision, it says Oklahoma quarterback John Mateer is pushing to return for Texas, sources say.
Okay.
But not 100%. We don't know.
Okay. Oh, gosh. And, of course, it's not going to be 100% probably till Saturday morning,
Which is why you're riding with Arch, right?
Gosh. I'm going to, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to go Oklahoma. By a slight margin. I think you saying that, Dan Z, maybe the quarterback's going to do that thing where it's like he's going to play like this is the last game of football he's ever going to play in his entire life. And I think it's going to be a great game. And I'm going to go with the Sooners.
All right. Very good. I love it. In Mateer, she trusts. Dan Z, who you got?
I had Oklahoma as my sleeper pick to win the SEC. Mateer not playing is worrisome. Hawkins is the backup quarterback. He's more of a scrambler than a passer. This is a tough one because Vegas has Texas favored. The FPI thingy in ESPN at 60% Texas. Everything's saying Texas, and I guess the question is, do they bounce back? This is the college teams, after a big loss like that, it's either they rally, like Ohio State that lost against Michigan and rally through the playoffs, or do they just kind of fall into the wayside and it's a rough start? My brain is telling me like Texas has too much talent, that defense is too good to not bounce back and do something. But my heart's yelling Boomer Sooner, and I'm going with them since they're my sleeper team.
Okay, wow.
Pick is in.
Man, all right. That is making me really rethink my decision here. I'm like, there is no way that Texas loses back-to-back SEC games, right? Right? That's a question mark, by the way, for those listening. That is a question I'm putting out there. I really have no idea what to expect in this game. I will definitely be watching it. I'm excited about it. I think Texas is too talented. I think last week was a fluke. If they lose to Oklahoma, the calls for Sark to be fired will be loud and proud in Austin. I think he takes care of business. Give me Texas.
Pick is in.
7:00 kick, going with the upsets, starting with these here, with Florida's huge upset last week over Texas. They traveled to number 5 Texas A&M. Do you think Billy Napier's team has figured it out here, Dan? Do you think he's figured it out? Can Texas A&M stop the Gators' momentum?
This is another tough one because Texas A&M has been an interesting team. They've looked really strong. They put up numbers, but when you kind of look at the quarterback stats, he's like hitting 55% of the passes. They're able to like run the ball and play defense. That's kind of what Florida does. And I'm like kind of feeling like is Florida riding a high off this? Texas A&M is known to go in and do these. They have these stumble games that we're always
every
aware
year,
of.
right
They're
around week 7, week 8.
Aware of these spreads only 7.5, so Vegas thinks it's going to be close to. Oh man,
I know.
people like you don't get a lot of chance to think.
So you're on the spot there.
I really want to take the Gators just because I feel like they're going to bounce back, but I think I'm going to go Texas A&M. It's at home. At the end of the day, Kyle Field will be rocking. Texas A&M has sights set. They could be in the SEC championship game. They were a game away last year. I think Texas A&M wins the game.
The pick is in.
Yeah, I'm right with Texas A&M in this game too. Until they show that they can stumble in these games. I mean, they're still undefeated, and I like Florida. I like the prospect of how good they can be, because you look at that team and you're like, God, it has a ton of potential. But I don't know. I'm beginning to think more and more that it's a fluke with what happened last week. And, just going on the road, 7:00 kick. I just don't love that atmosphere. I don't think Texas A&M stumbles here, but they will stumble before the end of the season. They will not end the season undefeated.
The pick is in.
All right, Nicole, that leaves you.
I'm going to say ditto, that I'm going with Texas A&M. I think Florida's going to be comfortable now kind of being the villain for sure. And they'll make them stumble maybe throughout the game. It'll be closer than people expect, but I'm going to go with the home field advantage on this one. For sure.
The pick is
all right,
in.
We're all riding with Texas A&M there. Obviously, Alex and Mike B will have their picks up on our SportsPod socials. If you want to give us a follow, it's SportsPod ATL on Instagram and the SportsPod on Facebook, and we'll put all of our picks up there. Even if Alex is sick and Mike B's out, believe me, all the picks will be distributed, and they can't cheat. They can't listen to us give our picks here. So they are genuine picks that they've thought themselves. So but those two games are certainly going to be fun to kick us off there. Noon kick here, number 1 Ohio State taking on number 17 Illinois. How about that, guys? We're actually picking an Ohio State game. Illinois is very unpredictable. Can they pull off this upset? I say no, absolutely not.
The pick is
much
in.
like with Texas A&M, Ohio State's got to prove. Ohio State has nothing to prove to me, rather. I think until they are stopped by somebody, how can you not pick with them right now? I love what Ryan Day's doing over there.
The pick is
looking
in.
very good there. Nicole, what about you?
Well, this is really difficult for me, being a Georgia fan first, but having family who bleed blue and gold, Michigan. But I gotta pick. I can't believe I'm saying this. I gotta go with Ohio State.
Okay.
The pick is in.
Nicole's taking it serious this year. She always picked. Well, the family said not pick that. No, she's in the hunt, so she's like,
That's what it is.
He's right there with you.
Real.
No, it's good. It's good to see you guys. It's good to see a very close race for first place there.
Right.
Dan, obviously you're taking Ohio State. Why are you taking Ohio
The
State?
pick is in.
I am taking the Buckeyes. They've looked just dominant all year. They've given up. Here are the game total so far: 7 points, 0 points, 9 points, 6 points, 3 points. They're the leading defense in the country right now. The defense is looking better than last year, and I was very concerned when they lost so much on that defense. And now it looks like we're starting to open the offense. Julian Saint at quarterback is starting to look real good. 13 touchdowns, 3 picks on the season. It's in Champaign, but my sophomore year in college, we drove 5 hours from Columbus to Champaign to watch the game. Wind chill of 10. It was awful. Watched the game, got back in the car, and drove 5 hours home. It was like a glorified high school stadium. I'm not scared to play there. And the Buckeyes go in. It's 14.5 point spread. Buckeyes win by 21.
Okay. All right. I like it. I like all of us are pretty much on the same message, at least in that game. But again, it's college football. Maybe Illinois will be the UCLA of last week. 7:30 kick here. You got number 15, sticking with the Big Ten at least. Number 15, Michigan taking on USC. Game's got some major implications. I don't love that travel that Michigan's got to make to go to USC. Nicole, is that going to sway you to pick against them?
Well, I just set up why. Of course, I'm going to go with the Wolverines, Michigan for sure. But yes, the travel, the spread's what 2.5 last that I checked. It's a
That's correct.
night game. Maybe the fact that it's a night game, they'll have more rest during the day after traveling. But I'm kind of with Dan Z. Boohoo. I mean, they're gonna show up, show out, go Michigan. Let's do it.
Okay, all right, I love it. Sticking with their Wolverines there. All right, Dan. So why are you taking the Wolverines?
Never. USC still has the top scoring offense in the country at 48.4 points a game. So got a high flying offense. So this is the quintessential opposites here. Michigan does not have a high flying offense.
No.
They like to play defense. They like to slow it down. They like to run the ball. Haynes has been great at running back. Everyone is so on Bryce Underwood, but you can see the physical abilities, but I've not been impressed with throwing. Only 3 touchdowns, 1 interception this year. If USC can get out to a little bit of a lead and force Michigan to have to pass the ball, I think that's where USC can pull away a little bit. They do have a very dynamic offense, and they were 1 point away from being undefeated, or 2 points away from being undefeated right now. So I'm going the Trojans at home in the Coliseum, USC.
The pick is in.
I'm riding with USC too. That's the
pick
very
is in.
similar notes that I wrote down. I just said again, concerned with the travel. Michigan will dominate if the game is low scoring and there's a lot of defense. But USC, I mean, again, you say what you want. Lincoln Riley usually figures it out on offense. His defenses are never that great, but I've liked what I've seen from the Wolverines this year, but I just don't. I think that there's a little too much at stake in this game. I think USC takes care of business. 10-15 kick. Let's go to the Big 12 for a little bit here. Number 21, Arizona State taking on Utah. Spread is 4.5. Both teams have been unpredictable. It's been there have been like multiple identities for Utah, multiple identities for Arizona State. Who you got there, Dan?
So Utah was my sleeper pick for the Big 12, and they bounced back from that bad loss at home to Texas Tech with a big whooping at West Virginia. It will be at Utah. I think they have the edge just being at home. Like to what you said, Arizona State's been up and down.
You don't know what team you're going to get.
The last 2 games have been 27-24. Both games they've won by the exact same score by 3 points. Every game's close, so you just never know what you're going to get. I just think Utah is a little bit better. I think the Utes win at home.
The pick is in.
All right, Nicole.
I agree because I picked Arizona State a couple weeks ago. I was on an island, and I feel like I got lucky. Yes, their quarterback impressed me. He's got a lot of heart. He put a lot into the game for sure. But like you said, it's been close, and it's at Utah. Now, my Utes tend to let me down when I pick them, but that's usually on the road. So I'm going to go with Utah and hope for the best.
The pick is in.
I get it. I'm riding with the Utes too in this one. I love them at home in this game. If the right Arizona State team shows up, we'll all be wrong in this case. But I just, from a consistency standpoint, I think Utah is just a little bit better playing at home. Very underrated team, very forgotten about team too. Again, here in the South, we're always very focused on our teams in the SEC. And now with the Big Ten winning the championship the past couple of years, Big Ten has certainly become more visible to us. Utah's a great little program. I like them a lot. I think they take care of business.
The pick is in.
Now 3:30 kick. Sticking with the Big 12, you got Iowa State at Colorado. Spread is 3.5. I know we didn't mention this in the beginning. I feel like it's a very touchy topic here because Deion Sanders was seen on the sideline not wearing a shoe. He's dealing with blood clots. He had surgery earlier today, actually. And I really hope that he's in the best condition to be able to coach in this game. Do you think that the Buffs are going to rally behind him because of the medical issues he's been going through there, Nicole?
That is a very good point. It's definitely, the spread is super close, which maybe, again, you always kind of wonder, what does Vegas know? Because Iowa State's looked pretty good and consistent, and they're ranked, and it's on the road, and it's Iowa to Colorado. It's at Colorado. Definitely could be a trap game, but I'm going to stick with Iowa State. For some reason, my gut says the Cyclones are going to pull it out. It's going to be close, but they'll pull out a win.
The pick is in.
All right. Wow. No love for Deion's Buffs right there. coming to help his team. What do you think there, Danzy?
Yeah, what you said, Jared, is I hope everything's all right with him. Like, I know he had a cancer scare earlier before the season, and now he had the foot issues with the game. He almost lost his foot. Like,
he's had some blood clots
and stuff. Like, I don't know if not that I want him to leave the game, but maybe he needs to take a break to like get himself right. But all that being said, Colorado struggled. They're 0-3 in the Big 12. Their only wins are Wyoming and Delaware. They've lost to Houston, BYU, and TCU, and I think that continues. I think Iowa State bounces back from the close loss to Cincinnati. So I think the Cyclones win.
All right, I'm riding with the Cyclones too. Let's all right with the Cyclones. I really want Colorado to do well in this game. I'm pulling for them, obviously for Deion's sake, and hopefully he's healthy. But Iowa State's just getting no love at all. I don't understand why everyone puts them in these very close spreads, and even like looking at the ESPN predictor here, it's like a lot of people are jumping over to Colorado's side. So it's kind of surprising to me. I'm riding with the Cyclones in this game too. Another 3:30 kick, sticking with the Big 12. A lot of great games with these close spreads here. You got TCU at Kansas State. Both teams have shown multiple personalities. I mean, all of us thought that TCU had like a very clear path to the Big 12 championship. Then, of course, they lost like 2 weeks ago. And just looking at Kansas State, I mean, Kansas State's not a bad program at all. They certainly have looked pretty good for most of the season. Nicole, why don't you kick us off on this one too?
Oh gosh,
because you were looking uncertain there. You were looking the most.
I know. I'm looking at my notes. TCU's 4-1, but it's at Kansas State. Kansas State has been, yes, better than they were at the beginning of the season, but I have to wonder if TCU is just kind of, they've got more to play for at this point. And I know it's on the road. I just think that I'm going to pick another Texas team, God help me, and go with the Horned Frogs on this one.
Oh, right with the Horned Frogs. I love it.
The pick is in.
Ride them. Ride those Horned Frogs. All right, what about you, Dan?
Kansas State has not looked great this year. I think it's been kind of a pretty downer year for them. I think we had some high hopes. Thought they could be a sleeper.
Definitely.
They got that big win, or they lost that one, because the coach, the dad was punching somebody in Dublin. So they lost that close one in Ireland, and I don't think they've really recovered. They haven't looked too great. So I think TCU bounces back from that Arizona State loss. They're still in the driver's seat. They're still 4-1, 1-1 in the Big 12. You guys make me do this every single time. So here we go. Riff, ram, bazoo, lickety, lickety, zoo, hoo, wah, wahoo, give him hell, TCU.
All right, lock it in. Boom. Yeah, by the way, just looking at these games here at K-State again, Dublin game, lost 24-21 to Iowa State, barely beat North Dakota 38-35, lost to Army 24-21, lost to Arizona 23-17. Had a close game against UCF 34-20. That's enough for me to say that that's not a complete roster all the way around. I'm riding with TCU. Let's go with them.
The pick is in.
Horned Frogs. Now let's go to the Sun Belt, the Fun Belt. I like this game a lot here. This is another very close spread here. 3:30 kick at the old Turner Field. I think it's Center Park Stadium now. App State taking on your Georgia State Panthers. Can GSU hold down the ATL? Dan Z.
This is an interesting one.
It's close.
The spread's close. It's only 2.5, and you look, you're like, oh, 3-2, that one's 1-4. I don't know how crazy Center Park Stadium gets. But last week, App State beat Oregon State 27-23. They had a big loss to Boise before that. But look on the other side, JMU's pretty good, and Georgia State only lost 14-7 to them. So I'm kind of, oh, geez.
I know it's a tough game, right? Vegas doesn't know. As Kyle is saying, the Fun Belt.
I think ATL brings it home. I think this Hurst at wide receiver looks pretty good. I'm going to go, going with a little upset here. I'm going to go with Georgia State. Georgia State wins.
All right.
The pick is in.
I'm rocking with the Panthers, too, in this game. Weather is supposed to be stunning this weekend in the ATL. I think that'll bring people out. I think Georgia State's going to be excited. And App State is not the App State that we remember from so many years ago. I really like that. I really like this for the Georgia State Panthers.
The pick is in.
All right, Nicole.
You know what? I really want to pick the Panthers. I'm surprised. I thought I was going to be more in the majority on this one, but I'm going to go with App State.
Okay. All right. Whoa. Okay. All right. Jumping on the other side. All right. That's fine.
Sorry, Georgia State.
That's fine. You just don't care. You just don't care about your. If you want to burn somebody's house down, I'll put Nicole's address in the chat here so that way you can burn her house down. I'm kidding. It's a joke. All right. 4:15 kick here. Let's go to the SEC where the real football is played. Right, Commish? Going to the SEC. What the real football. 4:15 kick. I should have zoomed in on that face right there. All right, Arkansas at Tennessee at number 12 Tennessee, I should say. Does Bobby Petrino 2.0 have something to say in old Rocky Top there, Nicole?
It's gonna be really interesting to see him coach for sure, but
yeah, I'm gonna be watching.
I think Tennessee's got this one. Home field advantage.
The pick is
Have to
in.
hear Rocky Top 1,500 more times, but yeah, I think Tennessee's gonna pull out a win.
All right, I like it.
The pick is
What
in.
about you, Dan?
If he really was ballsy, he would drive in on a motorcycle to the stadium. That is what he should do.
Bring back the memories.
Yeah, I think it's a fun story that he's back, but it's one of those like intern coach buzzes. Do they get like the rally because like an intern, like there's that always intern head coach either gets like a big bump or they don't. Will they rally or not? I just don't think that defense is. Obviously, we saw last week how many points they gave up, but they've given up a lot of points this year. And Tennessee is averaging the second most points in the country at 45.8 points per game. I think they hang like 45 on them, and this is kind of a repeat of Notre Dame. This can be like a 45-21 Tennessee wins.
Okay, all right. So you agree with Vegas
The
in
pick
this
is
one.
in.
Now, my whole thing from having a wife that went to Tennessee and watching these Tennessee games is that the way they looked against Mississippi State last week was concerning. I mean, they cannot play like that for many more games in the SEC if they want to legitimately contend for an SEC title. With that being said, Arkansas, again, you're with an interim coach. Now, Petrino has done this before, has had success at this level, and Arkansas has got some good athletes. But I don't know if it happens in game one or not. I don't know if it all the genie comes out of the bottle in this first game or not. If it does, it's certainly going to be the lead story next week on Sports Pod, which you can't miss every Tuesday night, right around 7:30. It should go until about 9:00. We will certainly lead with it if Bobby Petrino ends up taking down Tennessee. But I again, much like with the Texas A&M and the Ohio State game predictions, until something is proven here with Arkansas, I got to stick with Tennessee on this one. I think they take care of business here.
The pick is in.
All right, so now sticking with the SEC, 7:45 kick, South Carolina at number 11, LSU. Is there any more magic from the Cox this week? I'll lead this one off. I say absolutely not. Death Valley is a tough place to play. South Carolina is as big of a disappointment as Florida was until they beat Texas. So I think now South Carolina is at the top of the heap there. Nicole, what say you?
Yes, well, they're another team. They love to play the villain, dark horse for sure. No, I want to say it's going to be closer than people expect. I really don't. I think LSU this is going to be a statement win for them at home. Maybe not a statement win, but just a confident win for them at home for sure.
Picking with Bayou Bengals. What about you? You riding with the Bayou Bengals there, Dan?
Yeah, I'm labeling this one called the Bummer Bowl because both these teams came in. Oh my gosh, LSU got that big win against Clemson. South Carolina is going to be good this year. I told you they're going to be the most overrated team in the SEC, and they are. And maybe two of the most overrated players that we thought coming into the season, Sellers and Nussmeier, were both probably Heisman hopefuls, and they both have been garbage. So this has been kind of a Bummer Bowl. Earlier in the year, I would circle this game being like, oh wow, I don't know if I'm going to watch it. Has any team been more down than a 4-1 11? I mean, LSU still ranked 11. I feel like people have just wrote them off. Yeah, because they've looked bad. The offenses looked bad. That all being said, it is a night game in Death Valley. We'll see if LSU can get back on track. That loss to Ole Miss was ugly. So they need to get back on the right path, and I think they will. I don't think it'll be like a super convincing win, but I think they win.
I could agree with that. And also, the only thing that I think could fuel South Carolina is it was really close last year. It was a really, really great game in Columbia, and I don't think there's enough there. I think South Carolina, this team has not looked energized in the games, at least that I've seen them play. They don't have the same spunk that they had last season, and they certainly have been a disappointment. But yeah, I think LSU takes care of business in Death Valley. 7:30 kick. All right, you ready for this one, Nicole? Your Georgia Bulldogs taking on the Auburn War Eagle Tiger things. Spread is only 3.5 at the moment. Night game atmosphere should make the South's oldest rivalry an incredible atmosphere at Jordan-Hare. Wouldn't you agree, Nicole? Why are you taking the War Eagles?
Oh, absolutely not. No, this is the Deep South's oldest rivalry meeting. The first meeting between the two teams was 1892. So you never know what to expect. And of course, it being in Auburn, I'm very nervous. So Georgia, it looked like we're trending in a much better direction after Kentucky. We started a lot faster offensively. Defense looked a little more confident, but we just got to keep building on that momentum. And I mean, of course, I got to go with my dogs. Go Dogs. Georgia wins, and we cover the spread. Double lock, whatever you want me to say. There you go.
Well,
The
it
pick is
depends.
in.
If anybody else, if everybody
true.
else picks Auburn, then yes, you would be qualified for a double lock. Dan Z, who you got?
This game always is one of those. It's I feel like it's just going to be close because it's like a deep rivalry and both teams kind of show up to play. It is in Jordan Hare, so they'll definitely be jacked up for the game. This Auburn offense isn't very good. I don't know what it is. Every year they just can't seem to get a quarterback that's actually very good. It was Thorne last year. Now it's Jackson Arnold. Yeah, they put up 16 points or 10 points against Texas A&M, 17 points against Oklahoma. Both those defense aren't as good as Georgia's defense. So I just can't see them put up a lot of points. I think it is surprising the spread's only 3.5. That's what I mean. But I think Georgia wins by like 10.
I think, and
The pick is in.
I'm riding with the dogs too, just to
The
make
pick is
sure
in.
that that's at least on the record there. But I think what's going to happen is much like how you described the Tennessee-Arkansas game. I think Auburn hangs around till the third quarter, then Georgia ends up pulling away. I loved the improvement in the running game against Kentucky. And again, you're starting to see some glimpses from Georgia. Kirby Smart tends to get his teams clicking at the right time. Auburn is I know I've got several friends that went to Auburn. They are very frustrated with the football program at the moment. You're just kind of in that middle tier of the SEC. You're close, but you're just not quite there yet. A couple more pieces, a couple more recruitment, get that NIL money going. I was teasing them. I was saying, hey, why don't you give some money to some of the boosters so that way you can go and buy the players that you want, and then Auburn will finally be there. But they didn't like that idea at all. I just feel like Auburn's just kind of knocking on the door with the big guys right now. They're in that middle tier of the SEC. They're trying to crawl out. I think that Georgia ends up pulling away. They end up winning by 14 in this game.
The pick is in.
Now, again, like this next game could have easily been the Sports Spot game of the week. There's really two this week. 3:30 kick. I love this game. Number 7, Indiana taking on number 3, Oregon. We'll find out who's the real deal in the Big Ten after this game. Nicole, I know you don't like either of these teams. Who are you taking?
Well, I mean, I do think it's going to be a good game. I'm surprised, like you guys were saying, we've got so many close spreads, and this one's 7.5, or at least close to that last I checked. It's going to be in Oregon. I got to go with, of course, Coach Lanning. Go Dogs. So I'm going to go with the Ducks.
Riding with the Ducks.
The pick is in.
I like it. All right. And what about you, Dan?
Yeah, I think this is what you said, Jared. Like, kind of let us know who the contenders are in the Big Ten. I think everyone thinks it's Oregon and Ohio State. Penn State is kind of out of the question unless they can somehow get themselves back into it.
They got to win out.
The other team, Michigan, right now, still ranked, still undefeated in the Big Ten. Indiana's the other one sitting here. If they can pull off this upset or keep it close and show us, I think they could be that third team that get in the playoffs again. So I think this is kind of I think everyone's kind of like, is Indiana for real? I don't know. I think I put them as my most overrated team. I can't remember. It was either them or Illinois. I think this could be a really good game. This Mendoza, these two are in the top 5 for Heisman right now in the odds. Mendoza's look great. Moore's look great.
Oregon's always got these quarterbacks.
Every year. Bo Nix,
every
Gabriel,
year. Every year.
More. And Oregon's stadium is loud. It is rowdy out there. I think game day's there. It'll be a crazy atmosphere. I don't think Indiana's been in a lot of these games, so I think pressure's going to get to them. I think Oregon is the real deal. I think the Ducks win this one.
Taking care of business. All right, you see Mike Booz, who again, he was unfortunately not with us tonight because he had a loss in the family. Hopefully you're doing well there. He is in the chat right now. He says, hey, team, double lock for the Ducks right there. I got you, Mike B. I got you, man. Double lock for the Ducks right there. Technically, because Nicole and Dan already picked them, we can't double lock it, but I have your double lock in spirit there, my friend, if I can hit the button. There we go. Double lock for you there in spirit. Hopefully you're doing well, and we wish the family well. And, of course, you guys can chat along if you watch us live every Tuesday night in between about 7:30 and 9 o'clock. God, I love this game. Again, number 7, Indiana taking on number 3, Oregon.
Especially a noon kickoff, right, Jared? I mean,
Yeah,
it's 3:30. Dang it.
Their time.
Yeah,
I was trying to throw you off there. true.
It's a long flight, guys.
It is a long flight for it, which I think would put the disadvantage on Indiana rather. My gut really says to pick Oregon in this game, but I'm going with Indiana. You know what? And if it is possible, I'm going to double lock it on that game.
It's possible.
Okay, all right.
I have the picks here.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
Okay, very good.
yeah.
All right, I'm going to double lock it. There's something about this Indiana team that just seems special. I doubted them earlier this year. Love they made the playoffs last year. I think they're the real deal. Again, double lock for the Hoosiers in this game. Now we got our Monday Night Football game. We've got 7:15 kick. I hate that they're doing this double game on Monday Night Football. It's ridiculous. Somehow I've got to figure out how to get done my radio show at 7 and get to the game at 7:15. This is going to be impossible. But Buffalo Bills are taking on the Atlanta Falcons. Obviously, I'm riding with my birds right now. Buffalo looked like trash against the Patriots last week. And we were all wrong here on Sports Spot. Everybody's like, that's a bad pick, Jared. That's a bad pick. And all of us picked the Buffalo Bills instead of the New England Patriots. And I feel like I'm brilliant now for picking that game. I'm like, you know what? There's a reason why I picked that game. I'm like, I don't know. This could be a trap game here. And sure enough, it was. But it will not be a trap for my Atlanta Falcons. Falcons take care of business. What about you, Nicole? What do you think?
I really want to pick the Falcons. I also thought of you when the Patriots beat the Bills because I remembered giving you so much crap for making us pick that game. Well, but in your defense too, I mean, you made the point. You said, why pick it for Sunday Night Football? You know, if it's not going to be at least a decent game. So yeah, that was shocking. They did not look great. I really want to pick the Falcons, but I do think the Bills probably bounce back and beat the Falcons. Maybe not by much, but I got to go with Buffalo. Sorry,
okay, right with the Bills here, but I just appreciate the validation you just gave me there, Nicole. That was great. You know, you're like, because everybody on this panel, I mean, everybody was literally taking a dump on me. Like, why would we pick this game? I can't believe it. It ended up being a great Sunday Night Football game. And it was also my alarm to leave Scotland on Sunday morning, seeing the final score of that game. And that was certainly eye-opening for me. All right, Dan, who you got in this game?
Well, since my Browns are absolute garbage, I'll root for your team, Jared. Let's go the Falcons. That's a heart pick, not a brain pick, but go Falcons.
All right, I love it. Go Falcons. Ride with the birds there. All right, now let's bring up our surprise game of the week. If you're new to the show, the surprise game of the week is each sports spotter brings up a game that they think could be a sleeper. There's no points attached to it, but you do get bragging rights on the following show. Nicole, was there a game that stood out to you?
I think I have 6 games down. I'm not gonna lie.
We don't have Alex and Mike. You go ahead. Bring up
theirs.
They do. They did pick theirs, but
I can bring them up. If Nicole doesn't say them, I will.
Okay.
I will. There you go. Well, we talked about, kind of liking this trend this season so far. There have been some good games on Friday night. So you got number 24, South Florida at North Texas. I think could be interesting. The spread's 1.5. South Florida's 4-1 and ranked, but Vegas is favoring North Texas. So you never know. Friday Night Lights could be interesting. I had Kansas and Texas Tech down. Kansas likes to play the villain. BYU and Arizona, the spread's 1.5. UCF, Cincinnati, and Nebraska and Maryland. But I don't want to take all of the surprise games. So I'm going to go ahead and
you just did.
I did, I think. No, South Florida and North Texas is my surprise game of the week. We'll see.
Okay. All right. I like a little Friday night game. Nothing better getting home and you're like, okay, let me just put something on. You're like, hey, there we go. That's a good game. All right, Dan, what about you?
Well, I had 2 of them, and Nicole said one of them. I think Kansas versus Texas Tech is a good one. Kansas, everyone's kind of still sleeping on 4-2. Their only losses are to Cincinnati by 3 and a close loss to Missouri. Texas Tech is number 9 in the country. I don't know, maybe an upset there. I think that's a good one. My other one is UCF versus Cincinnati. Cincinnati 4-1. Their only loss is a 3-point loss to Nebraska. First game of the season at Nebraska. Since then, they've been pretty good. Beat Kansas, just beat Iowa State. They could be in the driver's seat to be ranked and potentially in the Big 12 title race. So those are my 2.
Okay, I like both those games. Those are very good games. I think I have 2 this week as well because obviously, I'm picking West Georgia. We lost our first game this past week, lost to Austin Peay. Unfortunately, it was tie game, third quarter, and then Austin Peay kind of ended up beating us by 2 touchdowns, 2 fourth quarter touchdowns. But still love my Wolves. It looks like I'll be going to that game this Saturday. I'll be in the City of Dreams while we take on the Abilene Christian Wildcats. Should be fun. Both teams are ranked in FCS, but looking over the other side, people get mad at me when I pick West Georgia all the time. So my game to watch this week is I was, again, not impressed with Georgia Tech, the way they played against Wake a couple weeks ago. You got Virginia Tech traveling to Bobby Dodd Stadium. Tech ranked 13th. Spread's only 14.5 in this game. Watch out, though. If they don't cover that spread, there might be some bigger problems with Georgia Tech. They've got to figure out that passing game, and they've got to figure out how to protect Haynes King because he cannot continually get banged up if they want to legitimately compete for an ACC title. So those are my two games to watch out for. All right, now the big game here. Your Sports Pod game of the week, noon kick. Unbelievable. I don't know how it's a noon kick, but you got number 8, Bama taking on number 14, Missouri. Obviously, it's a big test for Bama. Missouri's a sleeper. Spread is only 3. I'm sure Alex is very nervous right now, while he's not feeling well. Nicole, who are you riding with? Nicole is frozen. All right, what about you there, Dan? Who are you riding with?
I think, like you.
Go ahead there, Dan.
Okay. Yeah, I think this is a good game. The spread opened at 5.5, and it's now down to 2.5. I mean, people are betting Missouri. I'm kind of liking what I'm seeing so far from Missouri this year. Granted, they haven't really played a lot of teams. They beat Kansas, South Carolina, and a bunch of nobodies. But I like Bo Prabilla. He was a quarterback that came from Penn State. I really like Hardy, the running back. I think he may be one of the best running backs in the country. He already has 730 yards rushing this year. Alabama struggled to run the ball. If Missouri can hold onto the ball and run it, eat that clock, I think this could be potential upset alert. I am actually going to go with the upset. I think Mizzou at home at Memorial Stadium is going to pull off the upset here. I'm going Tigers.
All right, riding with the Tigers right there. Let's see if Nicole is unfrozen. She appears to be. Nicole, who you got?
It's because you were making me pick a Bama game. My brain froze for a second. No, so I thought I was going to be alone on this one, but I'm going Mizzou upset. Go Tigers. Woo! The Missouri Tigers, not Auburn Tigers. And yeah, I think this could be major upset alert for sure.
Okay. All right. I cannot pick Mizzou. I feel like they have not played anybody yet. So Bama at least has been tested in very, very tough games early this season. I like, teams that are resilient and keep games close in really tough games. They're the ones that usually end up winning in these earlier in the season type matchups where it's, again, 2 top 25 teams. I love what the way Missouri's program's been going over the past couple of years, but I got to ride with Bama until again, they falter. I got to ride with them. And I love what I'm seeing out of Simpson so far. So, Alex, I know if you're listening or watching back later, you're going to be very happy with me for making that pick for you. By the way, next week, guys, these games, you thought the games were good this week. Holy crap. Next week, the games are incredible. Just to name a few: Oklahoma, South Carolina, LSU, Vandy, Missouri, Auburn. Who knows what ends up happening? Duke, Georgia Tech, I believe Ole Miss, Georgia, and also Alabama and Tennessee. My mind is blown. I can't believe I'm already looking ahead to next week. The games are going to be epic this week. Follow along with us on our SportsPod socials. Again, on Instagram, SportsPodATL, and on our Facebook page, I should say. I'm like, Facebook, what's that? Our Facebook page, The SportsPod. You can also follow us individually. Dan, how can they get more of you?
At DZerger21 on the Insta.
DZerger21. What about you, Nicole?
At Nikki Ben on X.
Very good. And I, of course, am at Jared Yamamoto on all the social places. I also put this up on my YouTube page. So if you follow my YouTube page, you get all my content over there from my various shows. I think I do like 17 different projects, whether they're on radio or just podcasts only. You can get all 17 of those projects on my YouTube page. Thank you guys and gals for hanging out with us this week here on the Sports Pod. Hold us accountable. We always get one game wrong, and there's always been an upset. Watch, this will be the week where everything plays out perfectly. See you next week. Bye-bye.